Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Max Payne 3 hardcore difficulty video walkthrough. This is the third section to a hangover sent directly from Mother Nature, and we're assaulting this headquarters of the giant black guy who was the bad guy at the start of the game, and is, you know, he kind of takes a back seat towards the middle. But it's going to be more, you know, peeking out, using the cover system to my advantage, occasionally shoot dodging, searching for painkillers, aiming for those headshots. There's only one encounter coming up where I really have to talk about a strategy, because you can get screwed really quickly just purely where they start you. But aside from that, I think you should be pretty good. Yeah, you should be good. So I'm going to continue talking about the things I like and dislike about the game. So I think the environments are rich. I love the detail. It's a shame that they're not as interactive as they used to be, but they are a lot more destructive than they used to be, so that's cool. I wish there was perhaps more bosses, because there's only really 2 bosses on the game. And Max Payne's never really been a game about boss fights, but on the first game, you shot a lot of dudes, and for the most, they were just slightly tougher than your normal guy, but it felt cool taking down somebody with a name. Because shooting nameless bad guys is just, you know, it's everyday work for a character like this, but taking down a dude who's been, you know, antagonizing you through the game is a good feeling, and this only has a couple of those moments. In fact, one of my biggest criticisms, once again moving back to the tropes that this game doesn't carry from previous Max Paynes, is the boss mechanic. And this is probably going to be a little bit of a spoiler if you've not played the game yet, which I don't understand why you're watching the guide before you've played it, but, you know, why not? There's 2 bosses on this game, and one of them is kind of, you know, true to form. And the form that I mean is, you don't generally have to kill the boss. The last bosses on Max Payne's were generally you knocking something down, be it a building, a structure. You did a certain series of events where you had to destroy supports to take down something to kill the boss, and I really enjoyed it. Right there, where the hell did that guy come from? That is where I came from. There is no back doors. He just literally spawned behind me and decided to come and mess me up. That is really bad. But that's what the last boss has always been, and the last boss on this game isn't that, so that to me is criminal. And I don't understand why they've done it. The second boss is actually truer to form, because you have to knock down these roof air conditioning units and vents and things to knock him out of cover, which is much better in my opinion, because it's more to the Max Payne thing. But to everybody else who doesn't have the investment, it probably just looks like pretty crappy boss fights. And I don't know, maybe they are, but I enjoyed them. Another thing I enjoy are the weapons. I like it how all the weapons are indigenous to Brazil, pretty much. There's nothing too fancy that shouldn't be there. He's using all the stuff that's available to him, which I think is kind of cool, because, you know, it's not just your standard M16s every, you know, 2 minutes, M4s and stuff. There's some interesting stuff. One criticism I do have for the weapons is how infrequent some of them are. So the Desert Eagle, a staple of a Max Payne game. This time it's nickel plated, which makes it even cooler. And I'm going to have to stop talking, because this is the hard part. So as soon as you come out of this, you want to run over to here and you want to shoot him immediately. He's the first threat, he's the second threat. Then there's a guy on the ground that's going to try and flank you. You just saw him then. Wait for him, kill him. The reason up on these stairs is the best spot is because if you stay anywhere else, you'll get hit by the napalm. By the Molotov cocktails, sorry. Who the guy to the left of me here is throwing. And what you want to do is you want to just eke round the corner, clean up the rest of the bad guys, and just be extremely careful. The second section to this is quite hard, because you have to move towards the gate to my right, and there's enemies through it who can see you, and you can't really see them because there's lots of foliage. So just be really careful, watch what I do. If you see a mistake, try and avoid it, and just act accordingly. Like right there, there's one guy left, but I can't quite get an angle on him. And I managed to get one really cheekily down here, and I shoot him through a plant. There we go. And I think the Glock is probably my favourite pistol on this game, because it just feels cool. There's something about it, and it's not even the fact that you can go flat out automatic with it. It's a cool pistol. And I'm not really that into Glocks. I used to be when I was younger, but thanks to pretty much every TV show that's had them in, has just kind of diminutized them and made them kind of worthless. but on this game, I really like it for some reason. It just seems to perform better for me. But as I was saying, the Desert Eagle, the nickel-plated one, it's such a good gun in the game, and you barely get it. There's like 3 times you get it. And aside from that, there might be ways to find it off of a body or off of a certain dude that carries it, but I didn't really run into it. And on Max Payne 1, you kept the guns you picked up, and you could pick up a lot more, which is one of the things that I really don't like about this game. The way that they've limited your arsenal. I come from a school of thought with games design that the more weapons you can carry, the better the game is. Because I enjoyed Turoks, I enjoyed Resistances, I enjoyed games with ridiculous guns, dating all the way back to Doom and Wolfenstein. And this kind of Halo mentality of carrying 2 weapons is bullshit. I've never ever been a fan of it, and every single like modern shooter or, you know, first person shooter these days seems to adopt that mentality. And it was cool for a while, but I've never really been on board with it. And on a Max Payne game, it limits what you can do. It limits the fun, in my opinion, because the coolest thing about these games for me is shooting people with different guns. That's why I enjoyed it on the PC so much, because people modelled different guns. There were mods that gave you all sorts of different firearms, and as a lot of you know, I am a gun freak. I absolutely love weapons, I really do. Not so much like swords and shit and arrows and, you know, medieval dog shit. Pistols, firearms. I like weapons because I think they look cool. There's something about them that's always fascinated me ever since I was a kid. And I am a fan of gun porn, I really am. And giving me the opportunity to use a whole bunch of different weapons is something I enjoy. But then limiting me to only being able to carry 2 is a little bit saddening. And it all harks back to what I was originally saying about something I like about the game and dislike. I wish you could choose your weapons. I wish when you replayed a chapter or in arcade mode, you could pick the pistol that you start with. Because you can pick your character's skin, why not pick your arsenal? And I wish there was more access to the guns that I want to use rather than the guns that the game wants me to use. And this is not a knock to Max Payne, because every single game that comes out these days has that in it. It has me wishing I could start with a different weapon. Just look at Call of Duties. How many times do they start you with a gun with so many attachments on it, you feel like you're using the gun out of Beverly Hills Cop 3? It's just stupid. I don't want a holographic sight, a noob tube, a silencer, a laser sight, a bloody target designator. I don't want all that shit. Just give me an iron sight, and I'm done. You know, give me extended mags. Give me something that makes the gun better, instead of making it more science fiction. But here we go again, slow motion shoot the rocket moment. Only problem with a white aimer, when the screen goes so exposed, you know, really, really white, is finding the aimer occasionally. You can lose it, it does happen, so be really careful. Happens to the best of us. But this is the end of this chapter, and the next one we're going to be moving between Brazil and New York, and the New York section is a bitch. It's pretty tough, guys, so thanks for watching, and you take care now.